Back here with Tony, the real estate guy. I got one more critical question for him. It's on everyone's mind. People want to know, what is my house worth? Especially when they're thinking about selling. But a lot of people just want to know, what is my house worth? How do you go about valuing a house, Tony?
Well, first of all, when somebody says, what is my house worth? It's not just that simple or just that easy. And you can't just simply pull comps, because you don't know what they've done to their house. If they bought it in 1970, does it still have orange shag carpet and Formica countertops? I don't know. I need to go into the house. I need to see the house. I literally need to take a tour of the house before I can give you a price of what your house would be in today's market.
Right. Why is that important? Is there just things that are different about houses that might affect value that you can't see on data?
Yeah, because just because it has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and on public record, that's what it says. And then I go see your house, and it turns out in the basement you've added a living room, another bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. I mean, those are things that sometimes aren't on public record, so I can't just go by that information. I literally need to see the house.
Okay, so once you've seen the house, what do you do next?
Once I've seen the house, and then you compare it to previous sales, and you see what that house sold for, and then you look at the pictures of that house, and did it have Formica countertops, or did it have granite countertops, or was the bathroom completely refinished, or did it still have that lovely pink tile with black trim around it?
Right.
I'm sure we've all seen those houses.
Right. So this is a popular topic I'm going to ask you, because I'm sure that these type of value systems that are out there do not compare counters to counters, baths to baths, etc. So tell me, when someone says, well, my Zillow says my house is worth this, what do you do?
Well, like I said, first I would have to stop laughing, because Zillow is just so far-fetched, it's unbelievable. Not every time. I mean, sometimes they're in the ballpark, but most of the time it's just an algorithm that's figuring out, you have this many square foot, this amount of square footage, you have this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms, and the house is this old. And that's all the information they have. They don't know whether you live on a cliff. They don't know whether your yard is sloped or you're on a nice flat land. I mean, there's a lot of things that they don't know.
So they don't know poor condition, average condition, excellent condition.
Exactly.
Right. Wow.
They don't know if any renovations have been done. And again, like I said, they don't know if you're next to a swamp, or if you're living next to a graveyard, or if the police station's across the street. I mean, they don't take things into consideration that
Right,
do.
right. And I know I've seen a Zestimate change as soon as you list a property on MLS. So they have in their algorithm built in a formula that says, if the price on the house is, if the house is listed on MLS, then we need to change our Zestimate. So that tells you that they're not all that confident in their home values, right, if they're going to change your value as soon as you list a property. So is there anything else you tell sellers about, I know people love to talk to agents to say, well, what am I going to get for my house? Can you ever guarantee someone what they're going to get for their house?
I wouldn't say I can guarantee it. Right? I mean, I can definitely give you a ballpark, because this is the way you are. And I always like to give a high price. Like if you want to push the envelope, we could maybe go for this price, or you want to list it for this price, and you're probably going to get a lot of more action and maybe a bidding war or whatever. I kind of always like to go on the lower end as opposed to the higher end, because if you go on the higher end and then your house doesn't generate the traffic that you're expecting, and now it's been on the market for 30 days, and then people start to think, was there something wrong with the house? And there's really nothing wrong with the house. It's just you kind of overpriced it a little bit, and now you're going to start either dropping the price, or just that's how I like to start on the lower end.
I would 100% agree with that, Tony. If you have a house on the market 60 days, the immediate thought is there's something wrong with the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's anything else that people should think about when they're valuing their home? I mean, does experience matter in real estate when you're having an agent to value your home?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, if you've done this one time, you're not sure how it works. If you've been doing it for years and you've done it for hundreds of houses, you kind of zeroed your craft.
Right, right. What about appraisals? We hear a lot of sellers say, well, I just refinanced 2 years ago and they appraised my house at blank. Right. So it should be worth that, right? What do you say when someone has an appraisal on their home and it's not matching what the comps are telling?
Well, because the market changes a lot, and again, there's just, I mean, I have appraisers actually call me all the time and say, hey, I'm comparing this house to this house. How did you come up? I mean, they're asking me for advice,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah, that's a pure indication that, in my opinion, I've always
the
believed.
market value is more.
Yeah, I've always believed that an appraiser and a real estate agent, they might use different tools to come about valuing properties, but at the end of the day, they're both professionals that can help you value your home.
Absolutely.
So, and in the end, it's picking the right list price to try to generate the buyer who's gonna pay the most for the home and on your terms. And you don't know that until you just have the right list price. You've both agreed on a list price to start at, and then you read the market and let the market tell you what's going on.
And the other thing is you're the homeowner. If you don't like the price that's offered to buy your house, you simply say no. I mean, I have had that asked, well, what if somebody offers us a really low price? You simply say no. That's all.
Yes.
I mean, don't feel obligated to sell your house just because you put it on the market. If
Right.
you're not getting what you think you want or what you think you deserve,
Right.
simply say no.
Right. Okay, I got one more question for you. Someone is looking to sell and buy, but they don't want to put their house on the market because they haven't found the next house yet. What kind of advice would you give them?
The catch-22.
The catch-22.
It is tough to do the dance, to buy a house and to sell a house at the same time, because to try to get the closing dates to happen, the number one thing I say is have a plan B. I mean, obviously you need to sell your house first, or at least most people need to sell the house because they need the funds from selling the house to buy their new house. So if you can sell your house and then you maybe have a relative you can stay with or something, if it takes that, if there's a couple weeks difference or whatever, or you can put in contingencies that say something like a seller to find suitable housing, or there's wording you can put in there for your listing to have people wait until you find what you're looking for.
So what I'm hearing in that is you need a plan. It's not easy. It's kind of a leap of faith, but Tony's the type of guy that'll help you manage that and figure out how to design that strategy and have different routes you can go in the process.
Yeah.
So, all right. So if you're thinking about selling your home, Tony's a great guy to provide a home value and start talking to you about the process of selling and reaching your goals. How do they get a hold of you, Tony?
Feel free to give me a call on my cell, 774-230-5021, or you can always go to my website, TonyTheRealEstateGuy.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony.
Thank
See you
you.
in the next one.